The most valuable substance on Earth right now isn't gold, and it isn't oil. It started as beach sand. And turning it into the thing powering every AI system on the planet requires a manufacturing process so precise that a single speck of dust can destroy months of work and millions of dollars. Silicon is the second most abundant element in Earth's crust, locked inside ordinary quartz sand in the form of silicon dioxide. Ordinary silicon is nowhere near pure enough to conduct electricity in any useful way. To build a working chip, manufacturers need silicon that is 99.9999999% pure, which means roughly 1 foreign atom for every billion silicon atoms in the entire material. They call it electronic-grade silicon, and nothing in nature comes close to it. Getting there means crushing quartz, heating it to extreme temperatures, and running it through a purification process that strips out virtually everything except the silicon itself. What comes out is a molten mass that, once cooled into a single crystal structure, becomes something called an ingot, a heavy cylinder of almost impossibly pure silicon. Diamond saws slice it into discs thinner than a credit card. Workers polish them until they reflect like mirrors. These are wafers. Each one will eventually become hundreds of individual chips. Here is where the story gets strange. To carve the circuits onto a wafer, manufacturers use light, not ordinary light. Extreme ultraviolet light, with a wavelength of 13.5 nanometers, which is shorter than the diameter of most atoms, can etch features onto silicon at a scale that defies easy description. A modern AI chip packs roughly 80 billion transistors into a space smaller than a postage stamp. Each transistor is around 100 times smaller than a red blood cell. There is only one company on Earth that builds the machines capable of projecting that light with enough precision. It's a Dutch company called ASML, based in Eindhoven, and it ships its latest machines in 40 separate freight containers, requiring 3 Boeing 747s to transport a single unit. One unit costs around $380 million. That machine, and that machine alone, is what makes the most advanced chips possible. Here's the part nobody explains properly. Standard CPUs are built around doing one thing at a time, extremely fast. It's a sprinter. AI doesn't need a sprinter. Training a neural network means performing billions of identical mathematical operations across enormous datasets simultaneously, and doing all of them at once matters far more than doing any single one quickly. That's why AI runs on GPUs, graphics processing units, which were originally designed to render video game scenes where thousands of pixels need to be calculated at the same moment. Top CPUs might have 64 cores. GPUs built for AI have thousands. NVIDIA's H100, its flagship chip for AI training, carries 80 billion transistors and over 16,000 processing cores on a single die. That solves the parallelism problem. Now there's a new one. A single H100 chip draws around 700 watts of power while running. 8 of them in a single server pulls roughly 10 kilowatts, non-stop, 24 hours a day. Scale that up to a data center with thousands of those servers, and you are looking at a facility consuming anywhere from 20 megawatts to several hundred megawatts just to keep the AI thinking. Enough electricity to power a small city non-stop. Roughly a third of that power goes not into computation but into cooling, because every watt of electricity eventually becomes heat, and heat kills chips. Those server rooms don't look like server rooms anymore. They're thermal management facilities now, where liquid flows through the walls and every chip runs at a temperature held within fractions of a degree. This is where the full weight of what you're asking becomes clear. Building a chip capable of running an AI model at scale isn't just hard chemistry and physics. Every step in the chain depends on a supply line so narrow that a single disruption, a typhoon, a political decision, a factory fire, can halt the global AI industry. Only 3 companies on Earth can manufacture chips at the most advanced nodes: TSMC, Samsung, and Intel. Of those 3, TSMC dominates, accounting for the vast majority of the world's most advanced production, with most of its facilities located on a single island. Building a new fab from scratch costs between $15 billion and $25 billion and takes roughly 4 to 5 years to reach full production. Governments have started treating chip factories the way earlier generations treated oil refineries, a strategic national infrastructure that determines who holds real power. Congress's CAPES Act committed $52 billion to bring advanced manufacturing back to American soil, not because it was economically optimal, but because depending on chips from the other side of the planet had started to feel like a vulnerability. TSMC's own expansion in Arizona alone is projected to reach $265 billion across multiple new facilities. None of that makes building a chip simpler. Subsequent generations demand tighter tolerances and more fabrication layers, multiplying the chances for something to go catastrophically wrong. One dust particle in the wrong place ruins a chip, so clean rooms are built to standards more sterile than hospital operating theaters, with air filtered hundreds of times per hour and workers wearing full body suits that seal off every inch of exposed skin. Nobody who builds these chips ever touches one. The machines do, guided by software running tolerances measured in single-digit nanometers, in rooms where a single vibration from a passing truck can throw off an entire production run. TSMC was founded in 1987 by Maurice Chang, a man who'd spent 25 years at Texas Instruments and saw, before almost anyone else did, that the future of computing would belong not to whoever designed the best chips, but to whoever could build them. He was right. Factories built on that vision now sit at the center of a global economy that cannot function without them. Every chip those factories produce, every AI chatbot answer, every image generated, every autonomous decision made by a machine traces back to the same place, a beach, and sand that most people walk past without a second thought.